Hey book friends, it's Dustin from Modern Metaphysicae, and today I thought we could hang out and take a trip through My Dear Aleister, creating the Crowley-Harris Tarot by Marlene Packwood. As always, if you're interested in picking up a copy of this book for yourself, you can find a link to where you can grab one down in the description box below. Down there you'll also find links to all of my social media where you can reach out and connect, as well as a link to my personal website where you can book a tarot reading with me, or even purchase some of my own handmade metaphysical goods. So be sure to check all that out at the end of the video. Also, don't forget to thumbs up and subscribe if you already have not done so. It really does help the community to grow. So let's dive in. I stumbled upon this book entirely by chance when I was participating in a discussion about the Thoth Tarot, and people were discussing how resources about the creation of the Thoth deck really aren't readily available. There's tons of books about the creation of the RWS and all of that. There's a ton of books about Aleister Crowley himself and, his biography, etc. But in terms of his specific relationship with Lady Freida Harris and the creation of the Thoth Tarot, there's not a lot of great books out there. And so I started Googling around and this popped up. And so I bought it on a whim because it was actually really affordable. It's a print on the demand book that's a self-published book by Marlene. I got this off of Lulu, and it's just a perfect bound softcover book. There's a lovely portrait of the author here on the back with a nice little author bio, and you can probably find out more on Marlene's website down here at the bottom. But the really cool thing that I loved about this book specifically is the inclusion of transcripts of some of the letters between Aleister Crowley and Lady Freida Harris, which I thought was really awesome, because that is as primary source material as you can possibly find, is the discussions about the creation of the cards and things like that. And I thought that was just really wonderful. And so if you have an interest in the Thoth Tarot and you want to learn more about the creation, or just read some of the almost hysterical correspondences between the two creators, I highly recommend picking this up. So let's dive in. Like I said, the construction of the book is pretty standard softcover book, nothing crazy here. The book is in black and white. There is no color images in this, and yeah, the contents are pretty straightforward. You have a history of the Crowley-Harris Tarot, then you have a section about spreads and layouts and how to read the tarot, and then there is an interpretation of the Crowley-Harris Tarot section and a bibliography. So not only does this give you some of the background and history of the deck itself, it also kind of acts as a good sort of beginner's primer when it comes to the Thoth Tarot itself. So yeah, there's a great sort of overview of the history. The author talks about the OTO, etc., going through a lot of this. Also kind of places a lot of this in time, which I think is really important. So there's a discussion of World War II, etc., all of that sort of stuff. And then we get into a lot of the correspondences between Crowley and Harris, which are some of them are pretty hilarious. Now, this is by no means a complete or comprehensive collection of the letters between Crowley and Harris. If there is a collection of that in a book format and you know about it, let me know, because I haven't come across one in my searches, and I would love to see a book that has the complete letters and correspondences between Lady Freida Harris and Aleister Crowley. But this is wonderful nonetheless. There's some really there's a lot of really good stuff in here. So I love so these letters are from the summer of 1940, and Lady Freida Harris made a list of things for Aleister, and she writes, "My dear Aleister, I can't find magic. Cap 0 on mathematics and philosophy of 0 equals 2. Is Vice Capacis really a womb? Why are there 72 decanates, 72 names of God? I can understand 36, 3 houses for each. So you get this really kind of interesting insight onto like not only what Lady Freida-Harris kind of knew and understood of the tarot, but then also what she challenged Crowley on, or what she had him clarify on, and things like that. And the thing I love about Lady Freida-Harris's perspective is her approach to it, in genuinely wanting to understand and things like this. I love this line: "My dear Aleister, I've been haunted all night by your complicated mind. If I may humbly draw your attention to the fact that paper is only a surface and can't be made to hold things behind and before. Although you, wrapped in the spirit, can walk around them. It's so..." Temperance is a kettle of fish. And listening to Beethoven last night, I realized what a fiasco he made when he tried to convey all he knew in the last movement of the ninth. So it's really candid, and it's really insightful into the relationship that they had with one another and the process that they went through in creating the deck, which is absolutely fascinating. So I love this book for that alone. And again, there are some omissions and things like that, so you're not getting the whole context of a lot of the letters. And I think what the author really tried to do here was really just focus on the tarot aspects, and I suspect some of the things that were omitted were just like personal things. So, but I would love to still read those. So if anyone that's watching this knows of a complete book of the letters between Crowley and Harris, if that is a thing that exists, I'd love to get my hands on one. So yeah, you have a quite a good chunk of the book dedicated to the history and the letters and the correspondences. There are also some lectures and things like that, which is cool. And then we get into the tarot practice itself. So how to read the tarot in the 21st century, spreads, etc. And I think this is a good beginner's perspective on the Thoth tarot. So if you're looking for a good sort of place to start working with the Crowley-Harris Thoth, then I think this would be a really wonderful resource to begin that journey. There's some things I don't quite agree with, but like I always say, there are no tarot police, right? The cool thing about the interpretation section is that sometimes she'll include tidbits from the writings and the letters and things like that. So here on the adjustment card, you have a reference to something that Lady Freida-Harris wrote in 1940, which is really cool. So, she definitely approached this book and how it was written from a very academic perspective, which I have an immense amount of respect for. So yeah, you get interpretations, major arcana, minor arcana, etc. The usual stuff, right? Nothing profoundly mind-blowing or different in this. And then in the back, we have, if I can get there, just some references to like the images used, as well as a bibliography, which is nice. There's a nice little about the author page. And yeah, it's a pretty straightforward little tome. Nothing crazy. It is a big book in terms of its size. Just for reference, here is a tarot card. So you can see it's a decently big book, and it's about, where are we at? It's about 140 pages. So it's a pretty quick read. Again, I think this would be a wonderful beginner's place if you have an academic curiosity or an occult curiosity about the origins of this deck or how to read and use this deck, I think this is a great resource to have. So I would definitely recommend checking this one out. My Dear Aleister by Marlene Packwood. This was first, to be honest with you, I don't know when this was written because there is no copyright information. And I just thought of that as I'm filming this. I'm like, when was this written? So I'm not sure. Maybe someone can let me know. I'll have to maybe go look at the listing for this. So check it out, My Dear Aleister. A really fun, interesting dive into the creation and how to read the Thoth Tarot by Aleister Crowley and Lady Freida Harris. As always, I just want to say thank you all so much for coming to hang out with me and check out this book. Don't forget to thumbs up and subscribe again if you haven't done so already. And remember, everyone's fighting a battle that you know nothing about. So be kind, always. Bye, everybody.